morning, everybody. Let's get into the tutorial. This is my Heartfelt Creations Friendship Rose Stacked Books Decor and Gift Box tutorial. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So I'm using Heartfelt Creations Friendship Rose. It's a great collection. I hope you like it. I am also going to show you that I did use some dies from Heartfelt Creations also in this project, and those will be, I'll show you later because we're going to make a little mini album that's going to go in one of these boxes. So I do have decorative pocket accents that we're going to use and the album tags and accents. So I did use those for this particular project as well. So let's get talking about the box. I love us. I thought this was a really pretty collection and it really screamed Valentine's Day to me. So I wanted to do this and I got this idea, so it was great. So we're going to make the third box today and I'll show you how to do that. The first box again looks like this on the inside, and I used a heart punch that I had from my stash to create just a little place to put up a tuck pocket. And then I used a tag here, some bling, a flower from my design team package. This is one of the tags from the cut aparts that I put one of the little baby buttons that I got in my design team package, and the little piece of twine that I did in a bow. And then here is a piece of the paper that I matted on some cardstock. So I used white artisan cardstock for the base of everything, and then I did use a little summer yellow for the matting. Okay, so let's get going with that. So that's the first box. Okay, the second box, basically on the outsides of the boxes I did the same kind of color scheme, but the lids I did differently because I wanted them to be a little different. So here I did another heart with a ticket, a flower, a little bit of bling from my stash, another little tag, and then another photo mat. And this one I used one of the cut aparts and I just kind of cut it down to put it in there. And it made a nice little place where you could put, you know, a photo or whatever. And then you have the box. So my idea was that the boxes would be great for putting gifts, and then we're going to make a little album to go inside. Okay, so let's talk about the covers. The covers are basically lay flat book covers that we have made a bunch of times. I do have a video for this, so if you do want to go back and check out that video, I got sequins everywhere. You can check that out on how to make a lay flat cover, but let me give you the dimensions. So for each of the, I'm calling these my outer boxes. Okay, these are the shells, the hardcover shells that are doing, you know, creating the box. And then the inner box we're going to make today on camera, and I'll show you how I did that. So each piece has an outer box and then the inner box here. So the outer box requires for each one 2 pieces of heavyweight chipboard that are 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. And I didn't write this down on a card. I'm really sorry, but I will have this in the description. Okay. And then 1 piece for the spine for each of them that are 1 1/2 by 7 1/4. And then for the cardstock to cover, you will need 2 pieces that cover the front and the back at 7 1/4 by 9 1/4. You will need 1 piece for the spine that covers the spine that's 4 1/2 by 9 1/4. And then 1 piece for the inside spine that's 4 1/2 by 7 1/8. Okay. And I did use 1 sheet of double-sided, or a 12 by 12 sheet of double-sided tape to put all this together. So you will need to triple all of those measurements, you know, for each, you know, for all 3 boxes. So each box requires what I just told you. Again, this will be listed down below. So I've already created that, and I've actually already put my letters on here. My letters, you guys, you're going to love this. So these are thickers that I've had in my stash for 100 years, and so they're so old that they don't even stick to anything anymore, and they keep falling down in the package. But these are from, like, I think it was 2014. Yeah, 2014 is what I saw. But these were perfect to use. So if you have thickers, you can use that for the words that you decide to put on your books. You could also use your Cricut or your Silhouette and cut out letters if you want. And if you are a fantastic artist and can do lettering, which I cannot, you could do lettering on this as well. But I wanted this to, you know, have the illusion of 3 stacked books, but then, you know, voila, there's surprise inside. Okay, so make your shell, and then let's talk about the inside of the box. let me get my stuff together and I will be right back. Okay, so to make the inner box, what you're going to need are a couple pieces of cardstock. One is 11 by 7, and we're going to take that piece of cardstock and we're going to score it on the 11 at 1.5 and 3. And then we're going to turn it and we're going to score at 1.5 and 3. Pretty easy peasy. And then we're going to need 2 pieces that are 3.5 by 6. Okay, 3.5 by 6. We're going to score at 1/2 and at 2. Okay, get your second piece, put it in your scoreboard, score at 1/2 and at 2. All right, then we'll get rid of our scoreboard. And we are also going to need some lightweight chipboard. You don't need any more pieces than this, and you need 2 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 4 7/8, and you need 2 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 6 7/8. Okay, those are going to be the sides of the box. When you put the box in, you're just going to need the sides. You're not going to need the bottom because you already have a hard, heavyweight chipboard bottom, so you don't need that. Okay. Now, fold and burnish all of your score lines. And I'll show you how to put this together. I did realize that I actually put it together without showing you, and so I had to real quick redo this. So I'm going to show you super quickly how to put this together, and then I'll show you the actual finished product. I got a little carried away. I was like all excited. It's like, forgot that I actually needed to show you how to make this box because we don't do it this way very often. The covers, on one hand, we do all the time, but this we don't. All right, so I'm just going to miter the 1/2 pieces. Oh, you know what? And I also, in all of that falderall, I'm so sorry. Good gravy. I forgot. So take your 3.5 pieces, put them back in your scoreboard with the 6 at the top. Score it 1/2 on each side. Good gravy, Michelle. See, I need to have more coffee. I have not had enough caffeine. All right. So we're going to go through this again. This is the only thing that I had to redo the scoring. Okay, so you've got your 3.5 by 6. On the 6, score it 1/2. Score it 5.5. Okay, 1/2 on each side. On the 3.5 side, score, like I said before, at 1/2 and at 2. Okay, do both of those. So I knew I was going to miss something. Okay, so we're going to cut and make some tabs here. So we're going to cut out that bottom 1/2 square, and then we're going to make this one a tab, and then you're going to cut this up. And I'm not going to edit that screw up out, okay? So you guys can see. All right. So cut that straight up, and we're going to make this one here the tab, and that's what's going to hold the sides of our boxes together. Okay, and then we're going to do that. So you should have a piece that looks like that. 1/2 at the bottom, 1/2 sides, okay? And then you have your flap here, okay? So let's do that one more time. Ignore that miter I already put. So we're going to just miter up, make a tab, and then cut straight up. All right, like so. Repeat on the other side. I spent so much time getting these tutorials ready and trying to make everything perfect, and I never get it perfect. I wish one of these days I would. Okay, so got that. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to fold and burnish this one completely, which we did that. Let's do our little tabs. Like so. Boom. Done. Okay. So we're going to glue this 1/2 tab. We're going to put a little glue on that. And we're going to glue it to the underside of this box. So I'm just going to line that up to that score line, like so, and glue that down. Okay. And repeat on the other side, and that's going to give you the other sides of the boxes, okay? And I like this method when I use lightweight chipboard to make a box. It covers all of the pieces of the chipboard properly so they don't show, and makes it really quick and easy, I think. Everything is instantly matted. Now, if you were going to, this is another story, but if you're going to put chipboard down here, you would cover the chipboard with cardstock on one side and then glue it down on the bottom, and then that would be completely covered. But we're just going to do the sides today. So we want a nice smooth bottom here, so that's why the tabs are underneath. Okay, and then you're going to take your chipboard. Now, I normally will use score tape for this, but because I messed up and had to redo this real quick, we're just going to do this for show, or for tutorial purposes. I'm going to just glue it down with glue, which will work, but I normally do like to use score tape. It just seems like it's a lot easier. So I'm just going to take these pieces and I'm going to glue them down, and they are a little bit smaller than the space they're filling, which is exactly what you want, because you want that chipboard covered once we fold everything down, okay? So we're just going to glue, okay, like so. Center that in that space. That side's going to be covered with pattern paper. Everything's going to be covered with pattern paper, so. All right, so this is the next step here. All right, and then we're going to do that, okay? Glue that down. So if you're using glue, make sure you burnish it really well, of course with score tape too, but yeah, there's that. Okay, so then all you're going to do is you're going to add more adhesive, and you're just going to fold those big tabs over top, okay, and fold that down, and you see how that just completely covers the chipboard. And then when you fold that up, you've got a nice lightweight chipboard side, and everything, you know, gets covered, and it's beautiful. So you end up having, even though it's lightweight chipboard, with the 2 layers of your cardstock that basically wrap around it, it's totally covered, okay? So you're going to do that to all 4 sides, and then voila, you're going to get something that looks like that, okay? So they're all covered, all the chipboards in there, okay? So let's cover the inside of this box real quick before we do anything else. I have cut my pattern papers, and these are cut exactly the same way as the chipboard, okay? So they're 1 3/8 by 4 7/8, 1 3/8 by 6 7/8, okay? So we're going to do that. And then we've got a piece that we're going to put on the bottom, and this is measuring 6 7/8 by 4 7/8, okay? So let's just put the glue on that, and we'll cover the complete inside. The tabs are going to wrap around to the outside of the box, and that will give the edges of the box, the inner box, a nice rounded look, okay? So there won't be like a raw edge of cardstock. It'll be nice and rounded, okay? All right. So then you'll have this matted. That'll have, if I don't screw up my corners, it'll have a nice border of white all the way around. So we're going to do this. And this is how I did all of my other ones. Exactly the same. All the inner boxes are done the same. And I got that too big. What did I do? All right. Let's try that. Cut it a little bit too big. I think after this tutorial, I'm going to take a break and have some caffeine. I think I am. Let's see, did I cut that one too long too? Of course I did. So let's check all of these. So they're supposed to be 4 7/8. Okay. And then, whoops, that one's not going to be long enough. So let's check my other one. 6 7/8. Those are correct. 6 7/8. Okay, those are right. All right. Let me check these while I'm at it because, yep, those are right. Okay. Yes, definitely more caffeine. And I keep saying coffee. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. I drink some pretty caffeinated tea. But I didn't have enough apparently today. So there's that. All right. So continue on with whatever, you know, papers that you want to mat your project with. Okay. Get the inside covered. That's the next step. Pretty papers. I just love the colors. They're so pretty. Down a little bit more. There we go. Make sure that's nice and centered. All right. One more. Okay. I will have all of this written down in the description. Okay. All right, so we have the inside covered. Now, when we fold these up, the tabs are going to be on the outside. Okay, so we can cover the sides, the short sides first, and then we're only going to cover one of the long sides because the other long side is going to be towards the back spine of our outer box. Okay, so only on the outside, only cover the two short sides first. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. You don't need to cover the bottom because that's going to get glued down as well. Okay, so the inside you have to cover all of the surfaces, but the outside we're just going to cover a couple of them. All right. There's that. Okay, and then now what you need to do is we're going to create the box. So we're just basically going to put the glue on the tabs and glue it up. So I'm going to just put glue here. All right. And we're going to fold that up, match the corners, and glue that down. Grab a clip. One more time. Look how pretty that box turns out to be. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And it is quite sturdy. You guys are going to be very surprised if you haven't done this before. Okay, more glue on the tab. And we'll do this one too while we're at it. Okay. Now clip. All right, and that is our inner box. Okay, so that's the back side. We'll go ahead, cover this side here only, so the front and the side will be covered. Okay, if there's an orientation to your paper, just make sure you're in the right orientation. Okay, and do that. Okay. And this way, you only have to basically put paper on while it's in box form in one piece. So that's nice too. It's a lot easier to do this when it's flat. All right. So once that's done, set that aside for a second. Grab your outer box. Now, I put my letters on there, so I want to make sure I'm in the right orientation. So this is going to be the top. This is going to be the bottom. And I'm going to grab my pieces here. So I have a piece of Summer Ivory that I'm going to mat the bottom with. I'm going to leave the spine alone because this box is going to kind of be basically obliterate it, so it doesn't really need anything. And then I have my top piece here, okay? So let's do this. Let's put the mat on the bottom. So this mat, I'll measure it for you here in just a second. Should have done that for first. But the top and the bottom mat will be the same. And again, I'm using Summer Ivory for this, which has a really pretty yellow hue to it, which I really love. Okay, so that mat is 7 1/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so you'll need one for the top, one for the bottom. Here's the pattern paper that I picked for the top mat. We're just going to go ahead and get this all ready to go. The mat, or the pattern paper, I should say, for the mat, I'll measure that for you too. I should have done that. Caffeine, I need caffeine. Okay. And stop singing, right? I can hear you. Stop singing. Okay, 6 7/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, to give a little bit extra border around to show off that beautiful Summer Ivory, which I think looks exquisite with this paper. All right, so then I have my pieces here. So I did punch the heart, and I did add my flower and my ticket, and then I have my little swirly do here. So I think I'm going to put that right here, maybe, or here. I think I'm going to put it there. Let me look. I want it, yeah, I think I'm going to put it over here. I want it kind of opposite of the other side. So basically, I'm just going to, now your little heart punches may vary, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the corners just to kind of do a right angle kind of piece of glue. All right, and then I'm going to lay that in the corner, and again, I cut the ticket out and layered that with a flower and then some bling with my stash. And this is just going to give us a nice little corner pocket. Okay, I've already prepared my tag, so I just cut that out. I fussy cut that, and I did a little bow, and I did one of my little buttons, and I just put glue and then used one of my clamps and just let it dry. So that worked out perfect. And then I have my mat. For my photo mat, it's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and my pattern paper is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so we're going to do that, and that's just going to be the mat little tab that tucks behind the pocket. All right, so I did one for each. So all of the lids basically are decorated the same, but you can put pictures on there, which is nice. You could write a little note on there, which is nice. Okay, so this goes, you know, like so, and this goes like so. So that's ready. That will glue right here. So I'm going to take those out for just a second. We'll glue that up there and get that all ready to go. I still got quite a lot of paper left over, so I'm going to make something else here real soon. This is number 2. I did the triple squash card already. Okay, so that's how that's going to look, right? Pretty, huh? I like the fact that on the outside it looks like really, what's this? And then you go into the inside and it's just gorgeous. I just think that's gorgeous. Okay, so then take your box, and what I did was I just kind of eyeballed it, but I lined it up to like right in the middle, and I'm going to glue the spine down first. That seemed to be the easiest thing to do. Okay, so I'm just going to take the back side of my inner box, and I'm going to put glue on that. And then I'm going to just try and center this lay that down, make sure that it's nice and centered, and then I'm just going to press that down on the inner spine. Now you want it flush with the bottom because it needs to sit on the bottom, okay? So that's why I was holding that up, trying to get that like that, and that is going to be in the spine. So then this piece here, we're going to just put glue on and then glue it to the bottom, and that will stabilize everything. Sorry, I'm probably off camera, but put your glue on there. We'll bring that lid up, or the bottom up, and then we're just going to press that down. Grab something. I'm going to grab my little burnish tool here, and I'm just going to press that down. Make a mess while I'm doing it. Something was on my thing. Okay. All right. So box number 3 is done. All right. So once you get all of that done, then you take your boxes, right? So we have I Love Us, yes. And then we have our boxes, but when you open them up, you get beautiful presentation. So giving a gift, putting an album in there, putting candy in there. It's kind of a, but wait, there's more project, which I really like. I like the fact that there is some color on the sides and the fronts, right? Think that's really pretty. And then I'm not sure, where did it go? I'm not sure which ribbon I'm going to use yet, but like, for example, let's tie this together and you can kind of get a feel for what this is going to look like. So I got a really big piece of this beautiful polka dot ribbon from Country Craft Creations. It was in my stash. And you know how you put the ribbon around the books, right? And then set it on your shelf. I mean, would that be cute or what? I just think that's adorable. So that's the project, okay? So this is the stacked book project. Now, I did make a small album to put inside one of the boxes. So let's put that off to the side. Let me show you what we're gonna do with this. So this is where the tags came in and where my decorative pocket accents came in. So this was fun to do. So here's the tag book, and I'm going to show you how to do the last page. But what I did was I took it's just a tag book, okay? So I got a little teeny tiny book ring here. This charm was from my stash. I've had it for a really long time. A friend gave it to me. This is the perfect project for it. Little butterflies and everything. It just fits perfect. I did a little tassel on the book ring with the seam binding from the design team package, and then I tied a button on it with twine, and so that's the closure. And then I used some of the cut aparts and some scraps of paper from the kit, and I just went ahead and matted these tags. Now these tags are about 6 by 4, and then the mats here, I cut them at about, for this tag, 5 by 3 3/4. I think that's what it is. Whoop, excuse me. So it makes a nice little album. So you could write things on here, you could put pictures, and then on the backs of some of them, I actually made them into pockets. So let me show you this. In the pocket, so I used the decorative pocket accents, and this has not only the little lace piece, but it also has the die. Let me show you that, to actually cut the hole in the tag. Okay, so I did that, and then I had an old Sizzix envelope piece or envelope punch that I went ahead and made a couple envelopes, and then I just put a little piece of cardstock in there so you could write a little message and whatnot. So that tucks into the pocket here behind that tag, and then you have, I took a piece of the pattern paper left over, and I just made a little tag booklet. These little hole reinforcers, this is so super easy to do, and I'm sure everybody already knows how to do this, but I got these from the office store, and you can just, they're white, grab a Sharpie, whatever color matches your project, and color them, and then you have hole reinforcements that go around your tags. So if you don't want to put like a zillion, eyelets in there or whatever, but you do want a little pop of color, like on the backs of these particular pockets, I left them white. It's really nice to do. So that's a great way to do that. Kind of, I guess, an old school way of doing it. So on this one here, another piece of pattern paper that was left over. And then on the back, I did another pattern paper mat. Here again, piece of the pattern paper. And then on the back here, I did another pocket. And in this pocket, I did just cut the tags out of the elements from the collection and put some seam binding through those. And so then you have more places to write a sentiment. And I just think it's really pretty. And then this one here was one of the cut aparts that I trimmed down to put on the tag. And then on the back of this, I put a piece of pattern paper. And then this right here, let me show you. Did I cut that out? Because I thought I did, but I didn't. Okay, so what I did was, this is the lace that I bought, or got from the design team package, okay? And then, let me grab my other scissors. I'll show you how I do it. It's super easy. So I loved the little heart medallions, and I was like, I want to use some in this project. So what I did was I cut out one of the hearts like this, get rid of the rest of that for now, and then trim it up. Okay, so I just kind of went around and trimmed off all of the excess little pieces and tried real hard not to cut into the lace. Okay, so I'm just cutting those off. Hopefully you can see that. I'm sorry if I'm off camera, you guys. My eyes are not what they used to be. My camera's a little farther away than it probably should be. Okay, so then I cut off all the little nubbins, but you can see there's still little areas where it looks kind of funky. So what I did was grab my tweezers and my lighter and really carefully, and I have to, like, big disclaimer here, you have to be careful. You have to make sure that you don't do this too much and cause a fire, okay? So please, please, please do this at your own risk. So then I'm just going to go around and just really lightly touch those up, and they'll melt and kind of even out, and then they won't fray, okay? So you just have to be careful, though, because if you hold it too long and too close, you'll cause a fire, okay? So just be careful when you do it, but that's how I did it. And then it made a really beautiful little element that I could glue. And I just used art glitter glue to glue on my project. Okay, so that's how I did that. And then let's see, let's do the last page. So the last page is also going to be one of those pocket pages. And I wanted to show you kind of how I did that. Okay, so the front, we're just going to cover with a piece of pattern paper. And I do need to round my corners. And I want to say, was it the smallest one that I used? Yes, it was the smallest ones I used. So if you don't have one of these, you need one. It's awesome. I love that it has 3 different corner rounders on here, and you can match pretty much anything. So, yeah. All right, so punched one piece of cardstock out of this, okay? And then I cut, and all I did was cut to fit that piece right there. So I had to measure that. So whatever tag you're using, if you're using this one, again, I cut these to about 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so that's ready to go, but don't put it on yet. Okay, but that's going to go on the front of the tag. On the back of the tag is where we're going to do our little lace bit and our hole. So that's where this one came in. So with my pattern paper, I used this die, I ran it through my Cuttlebug and created, my piece. Okay, so that's the piece that I punched out that's going to go around that hole. And then I took the tag after I ran it through and made the die, or made the tag. I took this guy here and I centered it on the tag where I wanted it to cut. And then I put a little piece of washi, and I have some, why there's clear washi tape in washi kits with all kinds of different pattern washi, I will never know. But There is. So I use that. And so I taped that down where I wanted it. And then I ran it through my die cutter again. And then that gave me the slit that matches that. Okay. So first run it through to create your tag, and then run it through again to create your slit. And the slit, I tried to put it right in the center of this square piece. Okay. So I really tried hard to do that. So that's how you use that. Then what I did, so it's going to be on the back of the tag. So this will be the front. This is going to be the back. So I want to make sure my orientation is right. I'm going to glue this down over that slit. And I just put glue kind of on this edge right around. And this, what it does, it makes it pretty, but it also kind of reinforces that slit. Okay. So I did put it over that as straight as I possibly could. Okay. And you want to do that first, because if you get glue in the slit, if the back part, if this piece is on, then you could actually close the pocket. So I wanted to make sure that pocket was nice and open and free of glue. Okay. So that's the back of our tag, front of our tag. Now we can put this on here. Now, the one thing you do have to remember with this is that you don't want to put glue down here, because that'll close your pocket. Okay. So you want the bottom part open. So what I did was I ran around the edge here. Okay. That's going to close my pocket on the bottom, because you want that, but you don't want any glue here. So then you can put glue on the top part. Okay. And then lay down the mat. Okay. Straighten that up a little bit. Okay. So that glue should close the bottom of the pocket, but leave it open so that you can stick stuff in. And then this part here will be glued so you can't stick stuff up there. Make sense? Okay. So that's how I did that. So you only need one piece of cardstock, cut that hole, and then this will cover it up on the front. Okay. And so then on the back, and this one, I'm going to go ahead and I made another envelope with that old Sizzix die I have, and it doesn't even have a picture on it. I don't even know where I found it, because I don't even have the box. So this might be, oh, that's where I found it. Goodwill find. So there you go. Big scallop envelope. So that's what I use. And I just used the pattern paper and ran it through, made my little envelope, measured my little tag to put inside for my sentiment. Okay. And then that will go in the pocket in the back. And then I have my other tag that I did use the hole reinforcers on, and that goes in the pocket as well. And then we can open up our book and put this on our book ring. And then our little album is done. And so that is that. So let me get this out of the way. Put these over here. Then you can take your project, and for example, we'll just kind of pop out this top box, open it up, and voila, you have this beautiful little album to put in your box. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's my stacked book decor and gift box project. And I just think it's really pretty. Again, I don't know if I'm going to keep that ribbon or not, but you know, it's really pretty. I like it. We'll see what happens. There it is. And I Love Us, and that can sit on your shelf, and it can be a really pretty, you know, decor piece. That's popular these days with the books. I've done them for Halloween with real books, and I thought, well, why not make it a really nice project? So there it is. So you can fill the other two boxes with candies, with a gift, all kinds of different things. The possibilities for this project are endless. So thank you for watching so much. Thanks for putting up with me. And I am going to go get some more caffeine. Have a great day, and I will see you soon with more tutorials. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.